Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm doing something slightly different to usual. I'm going to be making some aubergine pizza bites using baby aubergines, or eggplants as they're known in some places, which will be sliced and roasted in the oven for about 10 minutes. And then they will be topped with some tomato and some mozzarella and placed under the grill for a few minutes. And then they're ready to eat basically, but be drizzled with a little bit of basil and garlic dressing. So I'll go on to the ingredients. And for this I have 400 grams of baby aubergines, which I have cut into slices which are about 1/3 of an inch in thickness. And they're variable sizes because I didn't want to waste too much of the flesh of the aubergine. So that's 700 grams, which is 25 ounces. I have 112 grams, which is 4 ounces of mozzarella, which I have grated. I have 100 grams, 3.5 ounces of cherry tomatoes, which I have sliced. 6 grams, 1 teaspoon of salt, 15 millilitres, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and 1 gram, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, which I've just grated. And all of those ingredients will be for the aubergine pizzas. And then the dressing is 125 millilitres, which is 1/2 cup plus 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, 10 grams, which is about 1/2 cup of basil leaves, which be much less once it's chopped down, but loose like that, it's about 1/2 cup. And then I have 6 grams, 1 teaspoon of garlic, which I have just chopped up. And the first thing I'm going to do is to simply toss the aubergine in salt, and then I'm going to set those aside for 10 minutes. And don't worry about the salt, I'm going to pat them dry afterwards. So I'll just set that to one side for a moment. And I should say at this stage that I have my oven preheating to 200 degrees Celsius, that's 180 Celsius with a fan, 390 Fahrenheit, and I've lined a couple of baking trays with some parchment paper. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make my dressing. And for that I'm going to put my basil leaves. You can do this in a food processor, but I'm going to do it with my immersion blender. The basil leaves and the garlic into a jug. And I'm going to add my oil, and I'm simply going to process those until it's all nice and smooth and fully combined. And that's good enough like that. And that's the dressing to drizzle over the top once we've baked our aubergines. So I'll set that to one side until I need it. So I have left my aubergines for 10 minutes and I'm going to pat them dry. And that's just going to take off the excess liquid and also a little bit of the salt, and I'm going to put them onto the baking tray that I mentioned, and with them patted dry on both sides and placed on the baking tray, I'm going to take my tablespoon of oil and I'm going to lightly brush each one with oil on the top. Then I'll turn them over and brush them on the bottom as well. And with them brushed on both sides with the oil, I'm going to take my black pepper. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on each one. And then I'm going to put those into the oven and I'm going to roast them for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, I'll take them out of the oven. I'll come back and we'll go on to the next step, which is to top them with the tomato and the mozzarella, and then they can go under the grill for a couple of minutes. So I've roasted my aubergines and I've taken them out of the oven after 10 minutes, and they're soft. You just need to make sure that they are cooked through. And so what I'm going to do is I'm now going to put some tomato onto each one. And then I'm going to sprinkle over some mozzarella. And with those covered like that, with the tomatoes and the mozzarella, I'm going to put those under my grill, or broiler as it's known in some places, for a couple of minutes until the cheese melts and starts to bubble. Then I'll take them out and leave them to cool down for about 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll drizzle some of the dressing over the top and we'll have a taste. So I grilled my aubergine pizza bites for 2 minutes, and the cheese melted nicely, began to bubble, so it's turned a little bit brown on the top, as you can see. So I'm simply going to take, and I've left it to rest for about 5 minutes, and I'm simply going to take a little bit of my dressing, and not very much, but just enough to give it a nice flavour, drip it onto the top. And with that done, I'll have a taste of one. I'm going to have a taste of this small one here, I think, and we'll see what that's like. That's very, very good indeed. Has a lovely flavour from the cheese and the tomato and the dressing, and a little bit of chewiness from the aubergine. Very easy to make and very good as a light starter or snack, I think, during the afternoon, something like that. For me, I think they might be best served warm, but I think you could probably reheat them if you needed to. Just pop them into an oven or into the microwave for a few seconds, and that will reheat them through quite quickly. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there'll be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.